Picture this. A snowy Thursday night, lights are on at First Energy Stadium, and Jameis Winston is just soaking it all in. A win against the Steelers, their rivals.
Those rivalry games are always something else.
They really are. And you see Winston after the game playing in the snow, talking about ordering something from Amazon, to be delivered right then. There's this joy about him, real contagious. But this was more than just a win. This was a statement for a team that's had some rough patches this season.
Absolutely. Seeing him like that, so happy, it really shows the human side of this. It's easy to forget that these players, with all their talent, they still feel the same emotions we all do.
He was really feeling it. Winston even called a key moment in the game an N.F.L. Films moment. He even tried to sound like John Facenda.
John Facenda, of course, the voice of N.F.L. Films. For anyone who might not know him, Facenda's voice, it was the soundtrack for so many years of N.F.L. history, that deep voice, almost poetic. He really added a seriousness to the game.
And Winston, in his own way, was trying to do the same thing. He described the snow coming down harder and harder, his feet sinking into it, and how the whole game shifted. It's like he wanted to remember that moment forever and have us remember it too. That's this big, important event.
Those sensory details, the snow, the feel of the ground, they get tied up with the emotions of the moment, really reminds us how powerful our senses are in shaping our memories.
So Winston's channeling John Facenda. What do you think that tells us about him?
Well, it might show us how he sees himself in the game, in the whole history of the NFL, calling it an NFL Films moment. Maybe he sees himself as part of that history, even as a hero in this part of the.
And for a quarterback who's had his ups and downs, all the attention, good and bad, this win, and how he reacted to it, it could be a turning point in his story.
It's a great story for sure. The team struggling, the tough conditions, the comeback win, and the quarterback right in the middle of it all, finding joy even with all that's going on.
You mentioned the Browns haven't had the easiest season. Can you tell us more about that?
There have been good times and bad. Inconsistent playing, injuries, some close losses that could have gone either way. This win against the Steelers, the way it happened, it might be what they needed to turn things around.
Especially with the Broncos coming up on Monday Night Football. What do you think about that matchup for Winston, considering how he plays?
Denver is known for their defense, so it'll be a real test for Winston and the Browns' offense. They'll need to be smart, avoid mistakes that have hurt them this season. Winston, he likes to improvise, make things happen when there's nothing there. But against a defense like Denver's, that can be risky. Could lead to turnovers if he's not careful.
So it's about finding that balance, taking those chances, but knowing when to play it safe.
Exactly. And that's where his decisions become really important. He has to read the defense, be smart, pick his moments.
Back to that NFL Films moment and the snow. It's like the weather itself becomes part of the story.
Adds to the drama, the snow coming down harder, how it affects how the players move, how well they can see. It all feeds into what's happening.
And it seems like it makes Winston's emotions even stronger.
Maybe. The way he talked about the snow, how it felt under his feet, how it changed the game, it's almost poetic. Shows a deep connection to that moment, like he's really aware of everything going on, physically and emotionally.
You've mentioned the pressure on Winston throughout his career. Do you think this win takes some of that pressure off, or does it actually add to it?
Probably a bit of both. On the one hand, a win like this can boost confidence, make it feel like things are moving in the right direction. It shows everyone they've been working hard and shuts up the critics for a while.
But on the other hand,
expectations change when you win. Now that they've beaten a tough team like the Steelers, people will expect more.
There's that saying, winning cures everything. But is that really true?
It definitely helps, but it's not a magic solution. To keep winning, you need consistency, hard work, and to adapt when things change. This win against the Steelers, as great as it was, is one step on.
Let's talk more about how Winston leads. You talked about his resilience, how he finds joy even when things are tough. How does that show up when he's playing?
You can see it in how he carries himself, how he interacts with his teammates, his never-give-up attitude. Even when they're behind, he seems to be able to rally the team, get them believing again.
It feels like he truly loves the game, and that spreads to everyone else.
That's really important for a leader, especially in a team sport. When the leader is passionate and excited, it affects everyone. It creates a positive energy that can be really powerful.
You've spent a lot of time looking at quarterbacks and how they lead. Have you seen this kind of leadership before?
It reminds me of some of the greats who were known for inspiring their team. Guys like Brett Favre, who played with that same kind of joy, even under pressure.
So you're saying that genuine emotion, loving the game, can actually give a team an edge?
I think it can. When players are having fun, really enjoying themselves, they tend to play more freely, more creatively, and that can lead to amazing things happening.
That's interesting. We often think about leadership as strategy, tactics, making the right calls. But maybe there's something to be said for the power of emotion, of creating a feeling of connection and inspiration.
I think there's a lot to be said for that. We can't forget the human side of this, especially in something as competitive and demanding as pro football.
And Winston, after the game, playing in the snow, talking about those Amazon deliveries, it's almost like he was trying to show that human side on purpose.
It could be. Or maybe he was just caught up in the moment, enjoying the win. Either way, it's a good reminder that even with all the competition, there's still room for joy, for connection, for being lighthearted.
There's been a lot of talk about Winston maturing, growing as a leader. How do you see this win fitting into that story?
It's another piece of the puzzle, another chapter in how he's developing. He's had difficulties, made mistakes, but he's learned from them. It seems like he's becoming a more mature leader.
Do you think this win changes how people see him in the league, among fans, even within the Browns organization?
It has the potential to. A win like this, the weather, the opponent, it can change how people think. It shows that Winston can lead a team to victory, even when things are against them.
In that N.F.L. Films moment, it shows a certain awareness, a recognition of what this means for his career.
It does. He's not just playing the game, he's understanding its history, its legacy, where he fits into it all.
It's like he's writing his own story, one game at a time. Every win, every loss, every tough moment adds something to it.
And this win against the Steelers, with everything that happened, might be the most exciting chapter so far.
So looking ahead to Monday night against the Broncos, what are the key things that will determine if Winston and the Browns can keep this going?
The Broncos have a tough deal. The Browns' offensive line will need to protect Winston, give him time to make plays.
And Winston will need to be at his best, making smart choices, not turning the ball over, and showing that leadership we've been talking about.
It won't be easy, but if they stick to the plan, play smart and with passion, and maybe get a little lucky, they could win again.
It'll be a game worth watching, a test of Winston's leadership, the Browns' resilience, and whether they can keep this momentum going.
It reminds us that in the NFL, just like in life, nothing is certain. Every game, every moment is a chance to write a new chapter, to do what people don't expect, and to prove that even when things are tough, anything is possible.
So what specifically will you be watching for in Winston's performance against the Broncos?
I'm curious to see how he handles the Broncos' pass rush. Can he stay calm under pressure, make quick decisions, and throw accurately, even when he's being chased? That will tell us a lot about how much he's grown as a quarterback. It seems like the snow, the wind, that NFL Films moment, it's given us a lot to think about with Jameis Winston.
It really has. And it's amazing how one game, one moment even, can tell you so much about a player, who they are, how they lead, their whole journey.
It reminds us that sports, they can be like a mirror to life. You see those struggles, the wins, the setbacks, the comebacks, all happening right there in front of us.
And we can learn from those stories, find inspiration, take those lessons and use them in our own lives.
Whether it's being resilient, believing in yourself, working as a team, or just the pure joy of doing something you love, there's something in Winston's story that speaks to everyone.
So as we finish up, what's the one thing you hope people listening will take away from this?
I hope they remember that success doesn't come easy. There will be good times and bad times, unexpected turns, moments of doubt, and moments of victory.
And it's how we deal with those challenges, how we react when things get tough, that really shows who we are.
Winston's story proves that. He's faced criticism, made mistakes, but he's never stopped believing in himself or his love for the game.
And now he's leading a team that's starting to believe in themselves too. A team that's finding the joy in all of it. A team that's showing that anything is possible if you have the right attitude and people supporting you.
It's a powerful message, and I hope it stays with our listeners.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.